So there's the ugly truth. All of this section, all of that there, including this stuff up here where it was deteriorated down to 0.6 mil, and including that weld there, was at 133 amps and corresponding voltage. Once again, there's no voltmeter on this machine, so I can't tell you what the volts are. Using Bondo Billy's method once again, I'll post his name into the video. And okay, it took some time. All of this was done without a copper backing plate. I did use a copper backing plate on the join, just there. And that's got about, that's, the weld there is well over 100% penetration as well. Can't really see it, but yeah, so I'm going to make up this little platform section now for the fuse and relay box to sit on, and then there's a little clip mount that it clips into, and it bolts onto here, and that goes there somewhere on that mount that tapers in that you saw in the previous video. Just going to go and have some lunch, and we'll go from there. Right, that's looking better. There is a couple of pinholes through there, but I'm just going to get some fibre reinforced filler and smooth this section down into this one. Next, I'm going to make this section up, and that has the little clip mount that I've already cut off here for the electrical box to pop down into. Not too sure how many returns I'm going to put in, because once again they're just factory specifications so they can spot weld them in, whereas I think I'm just going to stitch weld this and seam it up. I don't believe it's a structural member, because it goes right across, originally it goes right across these sections here. Good morning. I've had a couple of days off from the car. So that's all done, but I have to make this little platform up for the electrical box to sit on, and it has a little clip that comes up roughly around here where my thumb is. I made this one up out of two sections because of all the variable curves here, but it pulled. I've straightened it up by relieving all the shrinkage. I tried my shrinking hammer on there. You may or may not be able to see the marks, and that just made it worse. So I just did that to get it back into shape roughly, and then offered it back up to make sure it looked okay, and then used these two profiles here, and the bend line as was transposed onto a flat sheet, and I made it up in one section and then just massaged it to fit. So I'm just waiting for the copper coat to dry for now. I've drilled that hole there for the bonnet release cable to come through, and so that goes down there like that. So as much as I hate wasting material, that was just not salvageable. I'm just waiting on this other one to go off. So I've done the little cutout bigger than what the original one was, just to give me plenty of room and to put a bead of sealant there, and I just swaged it using a large socket, just to knock it in using the ball peen end of a hammer. And that extra hole is because I don't like the idea of closed sections, because I've got the 3M cavity wax and I've got a box full of grommets, one of those assortment kits. I drilled that so that I can treat it after it's done with cavity wax, and then I can I'm a little bit out there actually looking at that. Drill must have moved when I was drilling it, but I can massage that, and then I can plug it afterwards. And if I get fancy one of these days when I do a 12-month report on the car, I'll get a little bore scope camera for the phone and we'll have a look inside and see how the various treatments are going. Anyway, I'll get this one back in here and then hope, and give that a bit of a dressing. I'm not putting return flanges on this for plug welding. I'm just going to stitch it in and then seal it. I think its main purpose, or it may be a dual purpose, was one as the mount for the electrical box, but secondly it may be acting as a gusset between the firewall bulkhead and the inner guard. But then when we look over at where the battery is in factory location, I've had a quick look in there. I don't think there's any sort of gusset like that or any other sort of reinforcing to get around the change of section. Alright, I'll continue on. Okay, so that's in. And while I'm here, I've just put my bit of cut out exhaust pipe back on again because I want to clean that weld up. That's just penetration because that was welded from the underside. So I'll just go down there, clean that up, and then I'm going to offer up the electrical box. I think this goes something like that from memory, and that just sits into the little gutter of the box and then it's fastened down on that screw. I'll double check that, and then once we've got all that done, then I'll put the electrical box back up out here out of the way and continue up with the weld cleanup down the bottom there. That also down the bottom could wait till later because I'm still pretty sure that I have to take the engine out to do the plenum and battery. Well, the battery tray's okay, but the plenum and the gutter repair up there, I'm pretty sure I have to take the motor out to do that. Plus this, just where my finger is there, that part of the plenum, there's actually rust there. I'll see if I can get in a bit closer so you can see it. So what they rely on from the factory by the looks of things is that not much water is going to get in there because the vents are on either side, quite a distance away. There may have been some sort of plastic guard there, and there may well end up one being there again. But they just relied on loads and loads of sealant, and it's working. Apart from that spot over there, I don't know what caused that to go through, whether there's one of those studs, mounting studs there that rusted through. But the plenum wall behind that, the bulkhead wall, is rusted through. And I'm hoping to not pull the dash out. I'm hoping to do all that repair from the engine bay. So anyway, I'll continue on. We're slowly getting close to the end of this side, which is a huge relief. I just remembered that doesn't sit in there like that, although you'd be tempted to think that. It actually comes up this way and acts as a clip. It's just a detent clip there to hold that in place, and sits between those two stops that you can see there. So I'm going to have a go at making a new one, but if I don't have much luck, then I was just going to trim it through there and weld it to the new section, and it ends up something like that with a bit of a twist in it. This section may not be right, but it will work. So this is what I came up with. I couldn't do that many complex bends in one spot. I struggled with that with what I've got here, so I just offset that down a bit lower near the plug holes. But it basically gives me what I'm after, and that will go on there shortly. I'll spot it on just with a tack weld on the corner here, and with the box in place, and then I'll take it away, cover it all in leather, and do the two plug welds. That's the finished product, plug welded in, cleaned up a little, and I'll see if I can do this one-handed. Cables are in the way. I'll just pause it and get it in position. So this is where it wants to sit. plugged into the little bracket on the back there. Not perfect by a long shot. It's not supported as well as I'd like, but it will work, and naturally I'll be taping all those cables up, all those wires up once I'm done and ensure everything's working properly. Right, I'm finished on the left front for now. So I just grabbed a piece of 300 by 200 1.5mm sheet, roughly 1/16 of an inch thick, and I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. But I just used my regular ball peen hammer and my short length of railway iron and formed this up. It's taken me about 15 minutes so far. It needs a little more work, but it's getting there. So hopefully I'll have some more good news before I finish today. Just show you. Alright, well it's Saturday afternoon already. Time flies when you're having fun. I didn't put enough bend in this section when I made it up outside of the car, and then when I did this fold up return here, it just flattened it out. So I was off the transmission mount. That this floor is what I believe is originally spot welded on through here to the large transmission mount that it covers quite an area under the car, and any of you that are familiar with the E30s will notice that one mounting section has got, it's like a slotted rail, so it can accept any sort of transmission in there that was available in the range. So anyway, this section through here especially, I could to start with, I could get my thumb in there in between the two, and I thought, well, it's 1.2mm. I can either cut it out and make it up in two sections, or I can get in the car, close the doors. I wrapped up a welding apron double and wedged it up, put it up against the floor underneath and clamped it in place to try and muffle some sound because I didn't want to upset the neighbours. And I spent about 15 minutes in the car with the doors closed on a what's the temperature today? It's high 20s with and a little bit humid. It's quite comfortable for just sitting around, but not for being in overalls in a closed car beating with a ball peen hammer, I can tell you. But yeah, it's rough, but it's serving the purpose. I've got it down, welded in place. I just hit it with a flap disc there and spent too long here, and I've burnt a hole through there, missed a couple of holes here, and I need to set up my welding magnets with a small piece of copper and try and hold that in place to weld that one up. And these ones here I might either do with the with a copper backing plate, or I might just try and get comfortable and spend some time there. I've decided just to do it in manageable sections. The flange here on my replacement chassis section is quite wide, so and back here that's the original chassis section. So what I'll do before I put this section in, I'll clean those welds up a little bit, and they can share the section, and I can do a really hot penetration weld through both floor sections down onto the chassis. I'm not sure. I think this is a high section of the floor here. The car's been beached or hit underneath at some time. I got some of it out, but since I've done the repair, it's stiffened right up and it doesn't want to move any further. I tried back here with a big lump of wood across here, but it just started caving this section in. So I thought, no, we'll just leave it as is. We'll just do a functional repair. That's all I'm after out of this car. It's not a restoration. So I'll continue on welding, and hopefully I'll have an update on that later on. And then once I've got this one done, then I'll start deciding what gets cut out through here, and then I've got a lot of fun to look forward to on the sill and so forth. Luckily for me so far, touch wood, the outer sill seems okay, and then it's just the inner sill, and not even the jacking point. Strangely enough, the jacking point looks okay, but I might have to cut it off to get to everything and then just quickly fold up a new one. And I've got some thoughts on that too. I thought, well, seeing that I've got the cavity wax, I might actually box in the lifting point, because I've seen it mentioned on forums and other videos. They think that the jacking point was actually a carrying point in the factory, because it doesn't make sense to have a concave box under the car and people trying to put their jacking points under it. So I might spend a little bit more time if I do that and close it in with some reinforcements, so then the guys don't have to guess when it goes in for a wheel alignment or whatever. Okay, I'll continue on. Oh, I just thought, I'm always mentioning my ball peen hammer that I've had for years. Had a little bit of a whoopsie back here years ago, but that's the one I've been using, just a regular, reasonably heavy ball peen hammer. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably about 2 or 3 pounds, I suppose, and that's what I did that with. So yeah, I'm reasonably pleased actually. At first I thought I'm going to be embarrassed to show this, but I'm reasonably pleased with it. If you were trying to build or restore a car nicely, then you'd cut it out and do it again. But considering that probably over 50% of this final form was done in the car, I think it turned out okay. But that's just my opinion. Okay, well that section's in. It's not pretty, but it's in. And now I've started looking at this inner sill and floor pan problem here. On the passenger side, of course, that's all the repairs on the passenger side for now. Now, I did have a look at the back of the car, because I was thinking, God, how much of this have I got to go? But there's no damage at the back. So it leads me to believe that this car was ploughed through muddy floodwaters numerous times in its life in Bangkok, and in that muddy water just got forced into all these cavities here, and then it just sat and rusted away. So luckily the outer sill here at the front is not bad, and that's all okay. I've been underneath the car and had a look at that. I'll take you under there shortly. So that all needs to be replaced, but what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go across here, down through here and back here. So that's about a 300 mil that way, and from memory about 260 mil that way. I'm going to make that section up and match it up to this, put these pressings in using the bead roller, and see what I can do here. But I'll cut off there because I'm reasonably happy with that, and just do that section. Once I've got it made, then I'll cut this out here at least, or even all of it, so I can repair this outer sill just through here, get that all cleaned up and rust treated and so forth, and then start looking at tacking the new section in and making up this little return flange here that you can just see. There's another bit of it there that just returns up and is spot welded onto the inner sill. So I don't want to overwhelm myself. I just want to get this made and then get this out the way and then clean this up. So I would suggest that there's enough for another video here. So I'll get this one edited up tonight, and thanks for joining me on the journey once again.